5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The pit stop is vital to every race team's success. Pull off the track, let your team go to work.
Outside, clear.
Change all 4 tires, fill the fuel cell, and make needed adjustments, all in 8 seconds or less.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching, wherever in the world you're watching. Welcome. This is The Pits Are Open. Your host, Will Marotti, Alex Smith, our engineer, and we want to welcome everybody who's watching us on Speed Sport 1. Of course, any of the other social media channels that we stream as well, but we're super excited to be in the Speed Sport 1 family. Got a great show for you today. We got a driver coming up, a sports car driver. We'll talk a little bit about Daytona. Just had a great Rolex. Well, kind of a foggy Rolex. It was kind of interesting. And also a manager of a race team. First time for both of these guests. And so we're excited to have them on. I want to ask you to do 2 things for us, if you would help us, please. First, go to our website, thepitsareopen.com. And across the top, you'll see a banner. Click on that banner and you can sign up for our weekly newsletter. We bring you some good racing news and also a preview of the upcoming next episode of The Pits Are Open. And we only send that once a week, so you won't get bombarded by stuff from us. We're not like that. We're just wanting to keep you informed. And that's a growing audience too, Alex. What a growing family our newsletter is becoming. Wonderful. And then if you happen to be watching recorded on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Free to do it. Not looking to get any money from you, but it helps us a lot with the numbers. And so please do that as well. I got 2 short stories I want to talk about that have happened recently. Of course, Rolex last weekend, which was an interesting thing. But there was a big court battle between McLaren Racing and IndyCar champion, defending 500 champion Alex Palou. And the deal was Alex was with Ganassi, was offered a ride with McLaren. As the story goes, I think Alex believed he was getting slotted in for an F1 position. That, again, for whatever reason, didn't materialize. And so after he won the IndyCar title in 23, he kind of reneged on his agreement with McLaren. Zach didn't like that, of course, and went to court. As it turns out, the judge sided with McLaren and has ordered Alex to pay more than $12 million. McLaren initially had sought $30 million in damages, which I don't know how you do that. I don't know how you figure that out. Seems like a lot of blue sky there. But anyway, long story short, Alex now has to decide, will he pay? Will he appeal? No decision yet made on that. Of course, Zach is saying, entirely appropriate for McLaren. They had a contract. They had an agreement. Alex broke it. Alex, of course, is saying that the court's decision shows how the claims were completely overblown. Well, I don't know how you figure that out. They awarded him $12 million. It doesn't sound like it's too overblown. But anyway, so that goes on. And it's not the first time somebody's been sued in racing. Won't be the last. Rolex, exciting. A record of sorts. The fog settled in, and they ran almost 7 hours under yellow. Good thing it was at night, so a lot of people didn't miss it necessarily sleeping. But a three-peat. It was Porsche Penske, number 7, the 963 Porsche, and Felipe Nasser, one of the most experienced drivers in sports car, notched his overall team's 4th overall Rolex, puts him in a class now with Wayne Taylor Racing and Ganassi. Scott Pruitt, Hurley Haywood have tied for the most Rolex wins at 5 apiece. Of course, Scott Pruitt, the all-time leader with 10 wins. Pretty amazing. But it was good. And it's amazing that at the end, all 4 categories that were racing, if you combined the margins in all 4 of them, was under 11 seconds. Can you imagine that? You're racing for 24 hours and 4 different classes. And I'm telling you, best crowd, they said it was a record crowd. Wonderful. I mean, IMSA's got it going on. They have really got it going on. And it's exciting. The largest margin of victory of the 4 classes was LMP2 at 5.5 seconds. Imagine, Alex, you raced 24 hours and you only beat the guy by, you beat the guy by 5.5 seconds. I mean, that's incredible. It's incredible. It's great to watch. It's great to be there. Yeah, really cool. A lot of IndyCar drivers. Our favorite, Christian Rasmussen, was in an LMP2 car, I believe. Exciting. So it was great. Great. So McLaren won 12 million and Rolex had a lot of fog. So those are the stories. The stories for you. As I say, I've got some guests, and both of the guests that we're having today met at PRI. And one that we did an interview. Both of these folks introduced to me by our good friend over at Pegasus Marketing, Ralph Hansen, legendary sponsorship development person, worked for Newman Haas and Mario and had a great career there. So he introduced me to both of our guests today, and I'm excited. One is a general manager for Havoc Motorsport, a Chicago-based open-wheeled racing organization. They've multiple disciplines, multiple cars, and he's been on a number of. I listened to one of the podcasts he did recently. He's been on a number of motorsport conversation podcasts and shows, and I want to welcome for the first time to the Pits Are Open. I want to welcome John Harkenreiter. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being flexible. We had to move up our recording one day because of the snowmageddon we got here in Connecticut. Oh my God. Did you guys get that in Chicago? Did you get a lot of snow?
It wasn't that bad. We probably got overall 6 inches, but the wind just kind of blew it where it wanted to.
I don't know. I mean, it's all over the board here, but I think we got somewhere between 12 and 14. For us, that's a lot. Most snow we've had since like 2013. So thank you so much for being flexible. I appreciate that. So tell the audience about yourself, a little bit your background, what got you into motorsports. You didn't start out there. I know you had an incredible career prior to that. So tell the folks a little bit about yourself, John.
Yeah. So I got into motorsports early. I was working at a race shop, a speed shop, when I was in high school. I got into drag racing. Had a drag car, all of that, lived at the drag strip. Then it was time to grow up a little bit and had to put some money aside. So sold all that. And I joined the fire department. I was a fireman for 15 years until I had a career-ending knee injury. And I had to figure out something to do. And I wasn't really planning on starting a new career. But my father-in-law, he started and was running Havoc Motorsport at the time. And he offered me a spot. And I told him, I said, the only thing I know about cars is straight and fast. I know nothing about all this road racing stuff. So I was lucky enough to pick up a lot from him in the last 8 years. And then I kind of took over the shop 3 years ago and trying to put everything I learned to good use.
And it's not a little organization. You've got a lot. It's a good sized shop dimension physically, but you got a lot of cars. I'm sure you have haulers and transporters and equipment. It's a bit of a deal you're running there.
Yeah, we had one hauler to start back in like 2015. We did a little bit with World Challenge. We ran 2 Porsches, and then we kind of got away from traveling a bit. It was that progression where some of the drivers kind of aged out and didn't want to travel anymore, and the young guys weren't there yet. But back in 21, I took a 24-foot enclosed trailer and 1 driver to the June sprints. And then just last year, we were up at Road America for FRP, and we had 2 haulers and 9 cars.
Wow.
So,
That's a lot to keep track of. Boy, that's a lot. It's like herding cats, 9 cars. That's crazy. Guys, we're talking to John Harkenreiter with Havoc Motorsports. We're going to take a quick break with one of our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. So stay with us. Don't go away. We've got a lot more things to talk about with John. We'll be right back.
This segment is brought to you by America's Christian Credit Union. Are you looking for a smart, faith-aligned way to grow your savings? Then listen up. Right now, America's Christian Credit Union is offering a 12-month certificate with one of the highest rates in the nation, 4.5%. And it's designed to help you steward your finances with purpose. This is a limited time offer for new members. Deposits can go up to $1 million, but you can get started for as little as $1,000. It's called a term share certificate, similar to a CD, but backed by mission and values. So don't wait. Lock in your rate before it drops. Visit americaschristiancu.com/pits to get started.
All right, welcome back. Pits are open. Will Marotti, your host, Alex Smith, our engineer, and joining us first time, although I met him at PRI, first time is John Harkenreiter. John is the general manager of Havoc Motorsport, a Chicago-based team, and a lot going on. A lot going on. You know, I told you off camera that we've got a good friend from NHRA, Chris King, who pilots a nitro funny car. Also a fireman, a full-time fireman. So he's firefighter and he's a nitro funny car driver. So we really appreciate firemen. We have a very special place in our heart for firemen. So appreciate all that you've done. So you're getting ready for this season, right? And you're going to be competing in what series and with how many cars, John?
So we're going to be running the SCCA Super Tour this year. Normally we head down to Florida in January and knock out those two races, a little break from the winter and everything like that, but schedules just didn't align this year. So we're going to start up beginning of March at Road Atlanta. I'm hoping to field at least 4 cars for the full season.
Wow.
1 or 2 funded, and then we have a couple drivers that own their own cars, and we take care of them with a full arrive and drive service where they show up and they hop in the car and they go.
Really? Wow. Explain how that works a little bit more. I'm not all that familiar with it. I mean, when you have that, are you obviously you're providing crew and engineering, and how does that work?
Yeah. So we store all of our customer cars here at the shop, in our main shop, or we have a couple satellite garages here on property at the Autobahn.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we decide to travel and they want to go, we'll load up our haulers, bring them to the track, get everything set up. Drivers come out for the test day. Their car is already 100% ready. We have a full-time crew here. I have 4 full-time guys here, and then we will fly in help for the different tracks. We have a pool of 5 to 10 guys we use, and they all know the cars and they know the way we operate, so it's nice and smooth. And because like last June with 9 cars at Road America, it was one of those, if it could go wrong, it did. But we made it through, and the guys were happy, the customers were happy, and that's what matters.
Yeah. So when you've got that many cars you're coordinating, or let's say 4 this year, different drivers, styles, I'm assuming different levels of experience, different ages. Do you provide driver coaching? I mean, what are some of the ways that you help your drivers come up to speed if they're not already kind of there?
We try to break it down so every car, every driver has their own main crew chief or engineer. So when they come back in from a test session or qualifying or whatever have you, we'll pull their data and their video immediately. Mm-hmm. And then we'll spend some time with them one-on-one and go through all of that and see where they're doing great on track or where we could pick up some time. And then normally if they have more questions, stuff like that, I could step in or our main crew chief will jump in and go through that with them. And we'll make any changes we need to their cars and really utilize the test day to its fullest that way.
What are some of you're starting out at Road Atlanta? What are some of the other tracks that you guys will be competing at this year?
We'll be up at VIR, and then we'll be up at Road America, I think 3 times this year. Okay. But we're also going to hit Watkins Glen.
Oh,
yeah,
love it.
And possibly Mid Ohio. It depends because it's the same day as a Road America test day when the FR series will be there. So. Mm-hmm. Our guys kind of like to use that test day as a gauge for Road America for the season on where they're at before we head up there for the June sprints. So that'll be a game time decision what the drivers want to do.
Sure. And what's the age range of the drivers you're working with this year?
Right now, our youngest driver is 22, and our oldest is, I believe he is 41.
Wow. That's
in the F3 cars.
So that's not just a range in age. I mean, that's a range in experience. That's a range emotionally.
Oh yeah.
How do you manage that? That's it's almost like you have to be the the pack dad. You know, you have to
Yeah. A couple of the drivers, they stole one of my business cards and they crossed off general manager and they filled out the back it was team manager, team mom, babysitter, counselor. And so every driver is a little different. Luckily, they're all at least in their 20s, so we don't necessarily have to have the kid gloves on with them.
Right.
We can tell them how it is and what needs to be done to get faster. But some of the guys, they need it a little gentler than others. Some guys want to just tell me straight, what do I need to do? What am I messing up on? And other guys, you kind of got to ease them into it and let them think it was their idea.
So are these going to be 4 cars competing in the same series, competing in the same races?
Yes.
So are there like team orders? I mean, you want your guys wrecking each other, right? How do that's enough to manage right there. How do you what are the driver meetings like, the internal team driver meetings like before a race?
We're actually really lucky here because being on property at the Audubon Country Club, our guys get to drive 6 days a week from April till November. So we have a lot of track time. So it's developed more into a big family type feeling in our garage. Mm-hmm. So we really don't have to worry about team orders. They kind of sort it out themselves based on kind of skill level.
Okay.
But there are a couple of guys that are very evenly matched, and you just let them go out there and just tell them, just have fun, just bring it back in one piece. You're on the same team.
Yeah. And how do they handle crash damage, John?
That's on them. That's
is that the driver responsibility is crash damage?
It is.
Yeah.
With the paid seats, we do cover the first $5,000 of crash damage as part of the contract. But after that, it is a driver responsibility.
Which is a left front hub.
Yeah, it doesn't cover much.
Well, yeah, I guess. So you've got a very a team. You got a very family oriented team. What do you guys do in terms of? Do you have any gathering? Do you guys as a unit get together outside of racing? I guess is one of the questions I would have. Yeah,
a couple of the guys in the team, they have property here at Audubon. They have a condo or their own garage type thing,
yep.
And we'll go over there for dinners or to hang out or to watch some of the races when we're not working. And then when we travel, we always go out. We make sure we go out for at least one team dinner with all the drivers and all the crew. Normally it's 2 or 3 times during the week, but at least one for sure on the short weekends, just to make sure everyone's having a good time and on the same page and remembers we're here to have fun. And
sure. So with 4 cars, you're taking at least, I'm guessing, at least 2 transporters. And plus you've got to fit equipment and roadside car and golf carts. I mean, how do you load it all in there?
Yeah, so we have 2 haulers. We have one pulled by a semi, one by a toter. One's 53 feet long, a double stack, and one's a 48 double stack.
Okay.
So we'll normally load up one of them with all the cars, and then the other one will be all of our spares and toolboxes and the grills and basically everything. We bring the whole shop, basically.
Who's the team cook?
Lately, it was me. I cooked all season last year. Yeah, I made the mistake of doing it once, and the guys liked it, so I got roped into cooking every day. Yeah. So I didn't mind though. And they were happy with it. So
you mentioned like debriefs and looking at data. Does one of the transporters have like an engineering suite in it that you can hide out and talk to your drivers? Yeah,
the toter has a real nice little driver area. Mm-hmm. Most of the time we'll end up kicking the air conditioning on in there and give the drivers a chance to cool down and have a chance to reset, especially some of those summer races. It's really been a blessing to have that and just to kind of step outside of the chaos of the pits and the paddock and what's going on and actually focus on what we're talking about.
Right. Great. Hey, we're talking with John Harkenreiter, who's the general manager for Havoc Motorsport. We're going to take a quick break, go to sponsor. We'll be right back. I've got more things to ask John, so don't go away. We'll be right back.
This next segment is brought to you by Redline Ace. Race fans, when it comes to standing out on and off the track, nobody does it better than Redline Ace. Located just minutes from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in Speedway, Indiana, Redline Ace is your go-to source for high-performance motorsports graphics trusted by teams at every level. From custom car apps and team branding to helmets, haulers, hero cards, and more, Redline Ace makes sure you look as fast as you drive. Visit Redline Ace today and see why champions trust Redline Ace to keep their image in victory lane.
All right, welcome back. Pits are open. We're coming up on our year anniversary, Alex. We're 2 weeks, I think, is our 1 year anniversary, and
Crazy to think about.
Isn't that amazing? We've been doing this for a year already, and so many shows, and we're so grateful to be on Speed Sport 1. Hey, we're being joined, first-time guest, not a first-time meet, because we met at PRI, John Harkenreiter, General Manager of Havoc Motorsports. Hey, John, tell us a little bit about the owners of the team. I don't know them. I don't think we've met before. Tell us about them.
Yeah, so my late father-in-law, Jody Lift, he started the team back in 1974. And basically started off in, a small garage actually behind his house. And it grew into a bigger shop just south of here in Wilmington. And then in 2011, they made the jump into the garage we're in now here at the Autobahn. And it's been great. Now my mother-in-law, Marge, she does all of our bookkeeping, parts ordering. She's basically the heartbeat of the company. So we try to keep it going, try to make Jody happy, what he would want us to do and travel and get all that stuff done, what he used to do in his heyday. He started with the standard Mazdas, and they used to take care of 13 to 15 of those. And we still have one here at the shop that we got a customer that he drives it, and he's 82 years old, and he drives the wheels off that thing.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So it is kind of a family affair from that perspective, right?
It really is, yeah.
And you got kids, right? How many kids do you have?
I got 5 boys.
Wow. Do they all like racing?
They do.
Yeah.
And the 2-year-old, my youngest, is he's car obsessed right now. So we'll see.
It's good.
Oldest played hockey. Grandma said no more hockey. We're going to put the youngest in a race car. So we'll have him in a go-kart soon enough.
Yeah, we're big hockey fans up here, so we appreciate that as well. So tell me now, I mean, you are truly, I would classify you truly as a development team where you're bringing up younger drivers, which is so important. How long would you say, because you said you had some younger drivers and they kind of aged out. How long are you working with a driver typically? They come to you, maybe 19, 20 years old. How long do you think you're going to have to work with them?
If things go well, hopefully a season or two, and they're able to make the jump. F3 to Indy or NXT it's not a big step. It's very, very doable. We've seen guys go from the F3 Pro class to Indy NXT, and so we've been concentrating some of our efforts here at the kart track. We have an outstanding program here that they put on, and the kids just seem to be getting faster and faster at a young age. So we kind of keep an eye on some of those kids that are coming up through there, and we'll have a kid 13, 14 years old testing in one of the cars here at the track. And they can race, once they're 14 years old, they go, most of them go through Skip Barber.
Sure.
Or the Lucas School, some of the great schools out there.
Yeah.
And get their license and then jump in and start going.
I mean, that's so funny because, I raced for a little while when I was really young, and I went to Skippy. So, it's amazing that it's still out there. It's still going, and people are still attending it. You mentioned Lucas, another great school. I'm wondering if when you get your guy, like it's hard to tell. You can't really tell sometimes what they're capable of. But what's it going to be team-wise if you get one of your guys in IndyCar? They go climb the ladder and go all the way up there. How's that going to be?
That would first. It would feel amazing if they're able to progress and make that way. But they make it to IndyCar. I better get a phone call and some tickets to the Indy 500, something
at least, right? Come on. Do you look for the driver, John, or do they find you? How does that work?
So a little of both. as you mentioned, we've been working with Ralph and Pegasus Marketing Group. He's been outstanding. He introduced us to the great people over at Wings and Wheels Foundation.
Yeah. And I know Mark. Mark's a good man.
Yep. So we're working with them as well. Really trying to find those younger drivers that might not be able to fund a normal season in an F3 car.
Right.
I mean, the FR series, some of these teams are charging almost $700,000 for the series. And
wow,
it's, if you don't have good sponsors, I don't know how they do it. And that's what I wanted to use the SCCA Super Tour is with the F3s this year, is almost like a stepping stone for some of these guys.
Sure.
Get in, learn the car and do it, I guess, as affordable as you can in racing. Yeah. More budget friendly than going right into the Pro Series and getting swallowed up or eaten alive by that group, because they're fast.
Man, it's amazing to me how the costs continue to climb, and if you're not from a wealthy family, or and you really have to, as a driver, you have to really learn how to work the sponsorship gig and be good with people, and I think that's a lot of times where drivers really kind of fall short. They really haven't had training in it. It's even myself. I mean, I've been chasing sponsorship for 10 years and have had some success at it. But boy, I'll tell you, it's almost a full-time job trying to find sponsors.
Oh, yeah, and that's part of the reason we teamed up with Ralph, because I was trying to do it myself and trying to run the shop the day-to-day and chase down leads for sponsors and stuff like that. It was, it turned into too many late nights at home on the phone and on the computer. And right. I felt like I still wasn't getting anything productive done. I felt like I was hitting a lot of walls. So, like you said before, it's very big for drivers to be coachable, to learn how to be marketable. If I could, preach one thing to the younger drivers coming up, learn how to talk to people. Don't be shy. The worst they're going to say is no.
Well, don't be shy and learn how to be likable. I was just watching a podcast or listening to a podcast the other day, and it was all about it's not so much what you know or who you know, it's whether or not they like you. If you're a likable person, and even the sponsorship side is a lot of times, especially if you're looking out at, angel investors, or you're reaching out to people that are wealthy or have resource. A lot of times they're not sponsoring your car or your deal. They're sponsoring you. Right. They like you as a person. They trust you as a person. So drivers have to be so cognizant of the fact that they're selling themselves more than skill, more than the car, more than, nobody cares about logo on the car anymore. That whole exposure thing died years ago. Yeah. And that's really what drivers have to contend with now. They have to be, again, like you said, don't be shy, man. You gotta be out there. You gotta be able to go after it.
Yeah. These sponsors, it's the logo on the car doesn't mean anything anymore. They're more concerned with, can we come to the racetrack? Can we network with who's there? How can your driver, how can your team promote us outside of the track?
Right.
So that's the big new one that everyone's kind of learning. And for me, it's been a huge learning curve, because a couple of years ago I was able to hide in the back corner and just turn wrenches, and now I gotta be up front talking to everybody and being the face of the company, and it was a big change.
And that's where like somebody like Ralph Hansen helps so much, because Ralph is a consummate gentleman. He can talk to anybody, and he's got so much history. It's just like he's like a walking computer of motorsports. I mean, it's just so amazing.
He really is.
And Mark also was well. I mean, same thing. Just super nice people, very personable. So those are great resources for you, John. I want to applaud you for being able to work with those folks, because they're super, super helpful. Hey, listen, we're out of time. John Harkenreiter, General Manager, Havoc Motorsport. Thanks so much. It was great to meet you at PRI, and thanks for being our guest today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me on the show. I really enjoyed it.
Okay. All right, don't go away, folks. We're going to take another quick break, and we'll be right back with our next guest. He's a good one, race car driver. You don't want to miss it.
This segment is brought to you by Schaefer Manufacturing. Schaefer Oil, America's trusted leader in oils and lubricants since 1839. If you want maximum performance and protection for your engines, fleet, or equipment, Schaefer delivers, even under the toughest operating conditions. Their advanced lubrication technology reduces friction, runs cleaner, lasts longer, and helps you save money by cutting down on breakdowns and costly downtime. That's why professionals in trucking, farming, and racing choose Schaefer, because they don't settle for average. Give your engine the premium care it deserves. Learn more at SchaeferOil.com.
All right, welcome back. We are here, and we're going to be having another guest on here, a driver. I met him at PRI, very good. Also, I have to say, was introduced to him by our good friends at Pegasus Marketing and Ralph Hansen. He is driving in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo North American Series Lamborghini. I love it. I always think of our resident Italian teacher here when I think of anything Italian. I don't know if you know the Lamborghini story. I'm going to tell you. Ferruccio Lamborghini worked for Enzo Ferrari. And he came up with a weakness in the Ferraris. It was in the drivetrain, in the clutch system. And Lamborghini said he had a way to resolve that problem and fix the problem and improve the Ferrari. And so he went to Enzo, Mr. Ferrari, to tell him about what he had discovered. And Enzo basically dismissed him. He said, "What do you know? You're a kid, for crying out loud. You don't know anything. I'm Enzo Ferrari. You don't tell me how to build a car or a clutch or a headlight, for crying out loud." So Lamborghini was obviously insulted. He was offended by that. So he went out and he started his own car company. And here we are, Lamborghini, all these years later. Pretty amazing. Not as historic, maybe, as Ferrari, not as well remembered. You know, I don't care if you don't know anything about cars. If you're in a conversation and you drop the name Ferrari, people know it's something to do. It's like Andretti, right? You don't have to know even anything about racing. If you hear the name Andretti, you know there's something going on there. So it's pretty exciting. Let's see. I'm waiting for.
I will say, though, maybe a little more visually distinctive. Most people can always tell when it's a Lamborghini. Sometimes the Ferraris blend in a little more.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. The Lambos have a definitely probably more distinctive flair to them than Ferraris might have. So I totally agree with that. Let's see. I am checking in right now with our guest. Let me see. You know, going back to the McLaren lawsuit, in a different way, I think we're really finding out as these covers get pulled back in these kind of cases, we're finding out how much money is at stake. McLaren originally suing Alex Palou for $30 million. Well, how do you come up with that number, right? Well, they're coming up with it in what they figure to be lost revenue. Alex is a marquee driver, certainly. You know, he's made his mark already at a very young age in IndyCar, and he again is a driver who's gonna demand big dollars, and sponsors want to be with winning. You know, winning fixes everything. It seems. And so a lot of times these drivers come in and they bring a winning program with them. I had a laugh. I saw an interview with Will Power, who's one of my all-time favorite drivers. And, you know, Will had driven for many years for Roger Penske and Indy 500 champ, multiple championship winner. I think most poles, fastest qualifier for most poles of any IndyCar driver in history. I mean, just iconic. And as it happened, he was in his last year of contract for Penske, and the process was really dragging along. And Penske, nobody was saying anything, and Will didn't know what was going on, and it got awkward. I think it got pretty awkward about it. And as it turned out, as Will said in the interview, he got an offer from Andretti, Andretti Global, TWG, however it's going to end up being, or whoever it's going to end up being. And Will decided to make the move. So he said at that point he was committed. The money was right. Andretti can win. And so he decided at that point that no matter what Penske, if they made an offer, no matter what the offer was, he was going with the Andretti offer. So we'll see Will for the first time ever in IndyCar. I don't think he's ever driven for anybody other than Penske, did he? I don't really know that, but I have to go back and research. But we'll see in St. Petersburg, he'll be driving for Andretti Global, and I hope, and he makes no bones about it. His goal this year as a driver, beat Penske. That's his goal. I'm like, yes. Of course, Will Power is just he's a funny guy. He's very personable, and I'd love to see him win that second 500. I really would. I hope it's this year. Love to see him win the second 500. So that's what's going on. Okay, we're no sign yet of our guest, Alex.
Not yet, no. But while we're waiting, I don't usually follow the preseason testing for Formula One, but I did hear, speaking of Ferrari, that they've already had some engine problems. First day out on track, apparently.
Oh boy.
Yep.
Well,
and Cadillac is making a good mark too, from what I've heard.
Cadillac as well, but there's already some bravado being tossed around between Ford, who at least has the badge of is a Red Bull engine. Is that what that is?
Yeah, I think so now. Yeah,
it's not made by Ford, but it's badged Ford. Bill Ford, one of the relatives, of course, Henry Ford, great, whatever he is, made some comment against Cadillac that Cadillac's not using a Cadillac engine. And so they came back and said, well, you're not using a Ford engine. It just says a Ford emblem on it. Like for years, the Cosworth was a dominant engine and it had Ford badging, but Ford didn't make that engine. Cosworth made the engine. And both in F1 and IndyCar, it was one of the most dominant engines ever in racing. And that was some arguing that was already going on between Ford and Cadillac. But I hope Cadillac does well. I really do. I'd like to see him go all the way.
They have two great drivers. Too.
Really good drivers, yeah.
When you say Cosworth, the first thing that pops into my mind is actually Class B rally racing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the RS2, what is it? RS200, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Cosworth.
Yeah.
That thing is fast and terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Cosworth's always made great. And I would have, if I were Roger Penske, I always fear this because what if somebody's listening to me and they get mad at me because I say something like this, but it is what it is. If I were Roger Penske or Mark Miles, I would have been like 3 years ago, on my hands and knees at Ford, begging them. Cosworth had an engine ready 3 years ago. I know this from somebody at Cosworth. Cosworth had an engine. They needed the financial backing. I would have been on my hands and knees if I was Roger Penske or Mark Miles, or I wouldn't expect Doug Bowles to do it, but I would have been begging Ford to come back to IndyCar racing. Now they're talking about charters for the motor for Chevrolet and for Honda. They're trying to do anything they can because neither has promised beyond 26. New IndyCar not coming out now till 28, which for some people is too long. I don't care if they ever come out with a new car. The car's fine. I just hate seeing that expense get dumped on the owners and people having to buy new cars and spending millions on it. Yeah. All right, we're going to listen. We're waiting for our guest to come on. Let's take a break. We've got a few minutes to go, so don't go away. When you get back, I'm sure the guest will be back, and we'll see what happens.
This next segment is brought to you by Speed Sport and Speed Sport 1. Racing fans, if you want to stay plugged into the action, there's only one place to be. From breaking news to in-depth feature coverage of major events across the country, Speed Sport delivers non-stop motor coverage all year long. Whether it's IndyCar, NASCAR, dirt track, or drag racing, Speed Sport brings the stories, the highlights, and the drama right to you. So don't miss a lap. Visit speedsport.com and tune in to Speed Sport 1 or head to speedsport1.com. Your home for everything racing.
But get back to the court case, I think, and what I was talking with John, about. It's getting harder and harder for the average. Well, it's impossible for the average person to get into motorsports now because it's so expensive. Prices are just astronomical. I mean, we're even for junior series of anything, we're talking, $25,000-$50,000 a race weekend. Most people can't afford that, and so I think the model's pretty broken. That's why we're working right now on developing something brand new. We're gonna talk about it in a few weeks when we're ready to release it. It's a brand new model that is takes dependency away from sponsorship. Doesn't eliminate sponsorship, but instead of being 100% reliant on sponsorship, maybe we get it down to 40% reliant upon sponsorship. Because right now, if you've got and the example I was given was, even a team like Penske, where for many years they would have one sponsor per car, full season. Excuse me. That is pretty much gone wayside now. And you're not able to get a sponsor for the full season anymore. And so the team that does it best in IndyCar is Rahal, Letterman Lanigan, RLL. Nobody does it better than they work these regional deals to where they're going to be in Ohio, they get a sponsor in Ohio. They're going to be in Oregon and Portland, they get a Portland sponsor. They work it so well. Their team is so good at that. And now I think Rahal's going to be moving up the ladder. Now that you've got Mick Schumacher, holy cow! The name commands interest. The name commands desire. Of course, Michael Schumacher, one of the greatest ever in Formula One, and Louis Foster, another fabulous driver, had a great year. And Graham Rahal, who by himself, by the way, I think Graham Rahal brings more dollars into that team than any of the other drivers. So it's an amazing thing. And I think this is like a Rolex pit stop. We have our other guests now trying to strap into the cockpit and get ready to come on. Give us a thumbs up if you're ready to go over there. We're just waiting for you. He is a sports car driver. He is a driver in the we talked about Lamborghini Super Tour series, premier GT championships. And of course, Lamborghinis are just cool. And when they're standing still, they're cool. All right. You think he's ready? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time, albeit late, but we still love him, Garrett Adams. Hey, Garrett.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome.
How are you doing?
Good to see you. So I talked a little bit about you before in the break. Tell us about, real quick, your background and how did you get in the Lamborghini Trofeo series?
So I'm a Lamborghini Super Trofeo racing driver. I'm part of their young driver program, and I ended up entering the program about 3 years ago. I came straight from SRO, which is a smaller division where we race kind of more touring cars. They do GT3 as well, but they're a little smaller than IMSA. Mm-hmm. And I moved kind of up through the ladder, and eventually I was in a Lamborghini. So it was awesome.
Now I've watched the series and I'm somewhat familiar, but I don't know a lot about it. Tell us about the cars. What modifications are made in terms of chassis, roll cage, engines? What do they do to make these street cars racing cars? I mean, they're already fast to begin with, but
yeah. They take a factory Huracan and they only send the body over to the Squadra Corse factory, which is Lamborghini's it's where they build their race cars, basically. Okay, long story short. It's their motorsport division. And what they do, they take a factory Lamborghini 5.2 liter V10. They forge the internals a little bit. We don't know everything they do, right? It's pretty private. They harden the car, basically from a motor perspective, put an X-Track transmission, so a sequential, which has a clutch. Mm-hmm. They put a full roll cage in. The car is completely carbon fiber. And yeah, everything else is race goodies from there. The whole car is caged. Everything is solid mount, engine, transmission. So it's a full-on race car. It's a bad piece. Yeah.
See, that's so amazing. I didn't know that. I thought they took maybe a street car and just, kind of worked it over a little bit, but no, it's a bona fide full bore race car. How many drivers competing in a race typically, Garrett?
Well, at our World Finals event and some of our final races of last year, we had over 30 cars in the field.
Wow!
So quite a few people, all same make. So it's a really cool series to watch.
So let me just talk to my engineer for a minute here, Alex. I can keep Garrett over a little bit, and we can cut out some of my monologue. Is that right? Okay, all right. So what's your career been like thus far? Tell us something. What have you done thus far? What have you done the last couple seasons? What's going on?
So yeah, I've been with Lamborghini for the last 2 seasons right now, and I'm kind of jumping around team-wise. I'm looking for different options, different segues, and I'm trying to get my name out there in the Lambo paddock. So really, I'm just trying to win a championship in Super Trofeo, and from there, I'd like to move up to GTD. So that's kind of what my future looks like. I've already worked through the touring cars. I've worked through GT4, and I worked a step above GT4, so I feel like I'm ready to almost make it to that next step.
And the typical teams, Garrett, do they have like multiple cars, or how many cars does a team typically field?
My previous team, they owned multiple chassis, and they fielded 4 cars at one time alone. We finished the season with 2 cars just because it was easier to streamline and focus primarily on our faster chassis. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is sometimes stuff where you'll have drivers that start the season and maybe don't finish it, right? Okay. So it can be really interesting trying to field so many cars, work with teams, and work with other drivers. So and
you visit some of the greatest tracks in America. I can't wait till you come out to Lime Rock. That's going to be I think that's going to be a fun event. What are the cars like driving? I mean, a lot of horsepower. Yeah, a lot of aero on the car. Do you feel the aero on the car when you come out straightaways?
We're similar to like a Ferrari Challenge car with aero. We have a very aggressive rear wing. We have front canards. We have louvers. We have all sorts of really cool aerodynamic add-ons. But we're definitely less than a GT3 car, which is like the more touring, the 24-hour series, what they run. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we have 620 horsepower, so we're way faster than a GT3 in a straight line. Wow. And we only weigh like 2,700 pounds. So we're really, really fast, but we just don't handle as well. Yeah.
And how's like visibility in the car and stuff? It seems to me just looking at those cars, they don't necessarily lend themselves to great visibility. How does that as a driver?
So I'm actually 6'4", so I really struggle in these cars. I have a custom seat made. I can't see out the front very well. I'm kind of looking at a roll bar most of the time. And you can't see anything out the back, out the sides. Yeah, visibility sucks. It's terrible.
So they have to put a gurney bump in that car. You know what a gurney bump is, all right? They have to put a gurney bump in that car for you, knock out a spot for your helmet and the roof.
No, but we move the seat inward because the roof is shaped like this. So you can see a bubble. You can see me poking through the.
Wow. Wow. That is funny. That is funny. What's your favorite track so far?
Ooh, I would have to say Indianapolis. Good. I really love Indy. It's a smooth, mostly track. And I just love the racing there, right? Mm-hmm. When it comes to competing, that's one of my favorite places to be. Road America is one of my favorite like driving tracks, like as a driver, but without a doubt, my best performance, favorite time of the year is Indianapolis.
Good for you. Well, that's good. We share that in common. So where do you want to go from here? I mean, you're definitely focused on IMSA. You'd like to advance up to the IMSA ranks.
Yeah, I grew up since I was about 7 watching IMSA, so it's always been my dream to be within this series.
Good. Well, listen, we're out of time. I'm sorry we didn't have a long segment for you, but we'll have you back again when the season gets started. We'll have to get your some input on how things are going. This is Garrett Adams driving in Lamborghini Super Trofeo Series, and thank you so much for being our guest. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Will. I appreciate it.
Okay. Hey guys, thanks for watching, and Speed Sport audience, thank you so much. And again, please go to our website, which is thepitsareopen.com. Look at the banner on the top, click on the banner, sign up for our weekly newsletter, our e-newsletter. And then also, if you're watching YouTube as a short or a longer video, please like and hit the subscribe button. It really helps us a lot. Doesn't cost anything. we will be indebted to you if you'll do it. Alex, thanks so much. Great job, Alex Smith, our producer and engineer. And I'm your host, Will Marotti, and we will see you next week. Stay warm if you're in a snow belt, Snowmageddon. Otherwise, stay tuned.